Hi everyone, I'm Evangeline right here at eTrailer. Today we're taking a look at this Inno Roof Rack system here on our 2024 GMC Terrain. Now there's plenty of different roof rack options if you're looking to carry around some gear on top of the roof of your car. But depending on what you're carrying, how long you're leaving it on there, I do have some different recommendations or things to look out for to make sure that you get the best fit for you. And later in this video, I'll also show you how to get this all installed. As you get the right roof rack for you, it's first important to make sure you get the right type because your Terrain comes in different trims. So you might either have a naked roof, which is what we have here, or you might have raised rails. It's always a good thing to use our fit guide, put your year, make, and model here on our page, and then that's where you can see all the different options depending on your roof type. Of those different options, I personally really like Inno. I think they're really good quality. They have very nicely machined fit kits for the Terrain where the pads and the hook fit well against the vehicle. In fact, personally, I actually had an Inno Roof Rack system on my Prius that had a naked roof for those exact reasons. Now the Inno Roof Rack I had was the through feet version, and you do have those two options. So you can either have this flush foot version where it's a lot more sleek, more aerodynamic, and it doesn't sit out past your car. You can also get the through feet version with a longer crossbar. The downside for that is if you're a taller person, you may hit your head on the crossbar a little bit more often. Now the flush version has the same crossbars, just on a smaller end. So you can have the aerodynamic shape. You're gonna have a channel mount for channel mounted accessories. You're gonna have a press down and push design here, so you don't have to cut anything up. And this is all secured by an end cap that comes with locks and keys. That's a huge thing with Inno. Rather than having to purchase this separately, it all just comes together and it's all key to like. Because of how specifically designed that fit kit is though, you are set to a very specific spots on your roof for where you can put your front and your rear bar. You can't really make much adjustments. So for your crossbar spread, which is distance from one roof rack bar to the other, I measure at 27 inches center to center. That's on the shorter end, so be mindful of those accessories like ski and snowboard carriers, roof boxes if you want to carry on kayaks, and just double check their recommended crossbar spread to see how this will line up with that. This also sits pretty low to your roof. So taking measurements here, from the top of the roof to the bottom of the bar, I have a measurement of 2 inches. And that means if you have things that clamp around, let's say U-bolts and wingnet style, the old-fashioned way, you might not have as much space for that. Look for your more sleek strap style clamps or your thinner clamps so that you know for sure it'll fit. The next measurement I take is the height added to the top of the roof, and I have it at around 3 inches. Those measurements will change depending on where you measure because of your roof ridges. And that's how high up your cargo is going to sit. So picture this, you have skis with extra tall bindings. You want to make sure that you have enough clearance so you're not scratching up your roof with those bindings. If you find that you don't, that's okay. We have accessories here at eTrailer like ski carriers that have a little bit of a ski lift so that sits higher up off the roof, giving you that clearance. Now, an easy fix though is look into channel mounted accessories that go into the channel, and then you won't have any clamps going around your crossbars, and that will for sure fit. Another reason I recommend channel mounted accessories is that you can use more of your crossbar compared to when you have to clamp it down. This is what your roof rack looks like from the front. So for space inside the towers to towers, I measure here at around 36.5 inches. For the space up top, I measure here at around 40 inches. A lot of people want that measurement because how much things can they then put on top of their roof? Remember, you do have about 100-pound weight capacity though with this system as recommended from Inno, so just stay within those measurements and stay within that weight capacity as you plan out your adventures. For roof rack kits on the Terrain, I really like the Inno system. I really like how their pad is machined as well as their hooks. Yes, it clamps into where your door goes, but when you install it properly, you can slam your door on that hook, no problem. Plus the fact that it comes with everything you need, all you need to do now is load stuff on there, is pretty nice too. So if at any point you're not sure which roof rack you may prefer or what accessories you want to put on it, feel free to reach out to us here at eTrailer. We love helping people get set up with the right things for their adventure the first time. And if this is the roof rack that you really like, but you're curious about how easy is it to get put together, well, stick around for how I got this installed. Now, getting this all installed might seem a little bit daunting at first because you have different numbers on your clips or the pads. There's left, there's right. How do you get your towers onto your crossbars? Well, I'm going to guide you through that process. It's actually pretty simple once you know the tricks. What stumps people the most is getting the towers onto the crossbars. It's just simply a matter of sliding the track out underneath your bar. You're going to have a notch on one of your plates, so this will go in from below and then fit into place like this. And then we're just going to press this button here so that we can continue sliding that plate forward until it's in that open gap. Now you're going to then go look at your towers. You're going to have a right and a left, which we'll talk about which direction this goes. So looking at your crossbar, the tallest part is going to be the front, and then the tapered part is the back, which means that we are on the right side. So then the tabs on the crossbars will fit into that plate. Just set that on there and then pull. Pull it all the way until it sits on the edge of your bar. Now it'll feel loose, but it's on there. You do have a little bit of adjustment on your towers for how far they sit. So there's going to be two different measurements in your instructions for the front as well as the rear bars. You're going to follow those measurements. You're going to have an included tape measure, and you're going to go from the center of the crossbar all the way to the arrow on your tower. So in the case of our front crossbar here, we need to be 20 inches and 5/8 of an inch apart. So with that measurement, we can then just slide this out until we line up with that measurement. Do that on both sides, and then you're going to tighten down with your included Allen key. With your towers tightened down, they'll wobble side to side, but they won't go forward or back. Now you can put the rubber pads on. So the way I do it is I just press these onto the tower. I like to make it where the number is on the inside, and then make sure it's flush on both sides. With those rubber pads protecting the bottom of your towers, you can now put this on your roof. Remember what we said about the taller part being towards the front and then the tapered end being towards the back. Also double checking right and left towers. So where do you put this on the roof? Your instructions will give you a measurement, and in our case that's going to be from the gap between the doors to the center of the towers. You'll take that measurement, in our case that's going to be 6 inches, and then you'll line that up with the center bolt. Do that on both sides. You're looking for those rubber pads to fit not quite flush on the ledges, but really close. And if they don't look like this, then you may need to readjust where your towers sit. Now, once you're happy with where both towers are, then go ahead and take that screw out from the middle, grab one of your hooks. All 4 hooks are the same number for a Terrain, and you're gonna hold it up against your vehicle and against the tower, and then put that bolt back in. Hand tighten only for now. Then get your tool and then you're going to start tightening down on the clamp. Now don't go too far. My recommendation is just up to where it sits flush against the door. You're gonna then want to go to the other side. It's very important to evenly tighten down on each side. In fact, I go back and forth maybe 3 times as I secure the towers, and you'll see it in the clamps too. If you pull too much on one side, one rubber pad will be super smushed up against the car while the other one will have a large gap. So just go back and forth till you're almost all the way tightened down. You'll know you're all the way tightened down because this tool included with your kit is a torque tool. So once you reach proper tension, it will click, prevent you from over tightening. Make sure all 4 towers click. Finish it off by putting the end cap on there. Now you have 2 included keys, super helpful. All 4 towers are going to arrive keyed alike. This slides in over the tower and then you have to turn the key to secure it in place. There is a left and a right end cap. If you needed to mount things onto the roof rack using the T-channels, then just take that end cap off and now you have access into that channel mount. After this, what I then recommend doing is, since you have 2 keys, I put 1 key on the keychain. The other key goes into the glove box or in the console. I also put the torque tool somewhere accessible because you're going to need that if you're going to remove this roof rack or reinstall it. But once you have all the pieces put together, it's very straightforward from here. This just sits on your roof. Very sleek look. You're now ready to load this up with all types of gear for your adventures and hit the road because you just installed your Inno Roof Rack system with the flush towers. My name is Evangeline here at eTrailer. You saw this on a 2024 GMC Terrain.